Hello and welcome to Ops Oops Origami. It's been a minute. How are you
It has.
doing?
I'm well. I'm well. I looked. It has been. Our last one was like October 24th, I think, 23rd, something like that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
nearly 3 months. Um, got some things
Well,
done in that time frame, but
yeah, me too. And holidays and all that.
right.
Uh,
But we missed our year anniversary.
oh, did
So
we? I don't even know when
yeah,
that is or was.
uh, December. Let's see here. I'm looking at it right now. Our first one was December 19th of
Okay.
2021. So that's crazy pants.
Yay!
Yeah. Happy anniversary, Brian. Um,
I couldn't even tell you how many videos we've done.
um, well, let's do some stats here. Uh, one, two. I'm really bad at this. Let's not do some
Hmm.
stats. You're gonna hear me count out loud. That would be tremendous media experience for all our three viewer.
I think that falls under the don't do math live
Yeah,
because no matter how good you are at math, it isn't going to go well.
yeah. I mean, I know some people that can probably do it live. But they're like in particle physics and stuff. So
Well, yeah, yeah. But I'm looking at the list. There's 30 videos, but one of them was just a test video. Oh, it was the one where we had technical difficulties, so I just pulled it.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at yeah, yeah, 30. That's crazy. And look at us with our three viewers. If you're there, say
Yeah.
hello. Um, Heck, if you're not there, say hello. That's a trick. So,
So,
oh, go ahead.
well, so the video we pulled due to technical difficulties back in September was engineering yourself into a corner part two. We should revisit that someday because it actually plays into this.
Yeah, I forget what we were gonna talk to in that one.
I think it was Azure.
Yeah. Hello,
Hello,
Catherine.
Catherine.
Nice to hear from you. For those new to the game, Catherine has been on the show before.
Mm-hmm. Someday we'll get her back on.
That's right. Yeah, I was talking to somebody at work today, talking about some of the people we've had on in the past, and I want to get Brendan back on.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
he's been in the industry almost a year now, so
Yep. So those that aren't paying attention, Brendan is a new IT person. Came from a not an IT background. I think he was working construction and what else? That kind of stuff. And decided to take a stab at it.
right.
It
Yeah,
helps that his girlfriend is in IT and has been for, wow, quite a while now.
yeah. Oh, geez, now you're making me
They,
feel
they
super
grow up
old.
so fast.
That is true. Oh,
Because
goody.
it has to be 6 or 7 years now
Yeah. Oh,
since she was a little intern,
and she's like in her mid 20s now.
something like that.
Yeah. I'm
She's still
scrolling
like
back through her.
12 in my mind. And this isn't weird. It's a good friend of ours' daughter that he's in IT. We worked with him. She also went into IT and she was an intern for us. So,
Right.
And boy, it's yeah.
Time flies, man. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at our show notes leading up to engineering yourself into a corner.
I know Azure had an oops that day, but beyond that, I totally don't remember what it was or what the heck happened.
Well, it has been a while since
My
we
headphones
visited.
are all kinds of crooked here.
It's that fancy new camera you got.
No, the camera's the same. It's just NVIDIA broadcast.
Meanwhile,
That's what's moving my stuff around and woo.
meanwhile, I've got the same janky old patched up headphones that I've been using for a while.
Well, me.
They sound good.
Oh God, where's my headphones? So normally I had these Sennheisers, which I like, but the cord, it's like a braided cord. It always gets stuck up under the wheels of my chair and it gets all twisted up. So I switched back to, well, my second copy of two ADHDs, because this is my old, these have got to be I don't know, 10, 15 years old. But this is a brand new, an almost a year old now set. But I never really used them. I only got them for the podcast. But it has a springy cord, a coily cord, so it stays up out of my wheels, so I don't have to keep picking it out of there.
And really, who wants something up in their wheels?
No, not I.
All right, let me see if I can get this.
But these are also closed back, so I can't hear anything. The other ones are open back, so like when my wife yells for me, I totally can't hear it.
I'll let you know if somebody sneaks up on you from the window.
That's good to know.
I'm here for you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Let's see here. I'm hunting down this Azure outage.
I mean, I'll keep talking about speakers and headphones and stupidity.
Yeah, you should do that. I mean,
well, it's the constant desire to have my home work environment productive. Because I finally, in my old PC, I had a Bluetooth. Yeah, well, I had Wi-Fi, but I had the Wi-Fi disabled. But a Bluetooth controller so that I could use like my earbuds or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. I might try and use these once in a while just to see how they are. Using them on a computer. I use them on my phone all the time, but I've never really used them on my computer. So, especially not for work. I've definitely never tried to use the microphone like for a Zoom or whatever. So, I'm not sure how good it'll be. It definitely won't be as good as what I'm using now, but I don't need the other stuff. I don't know. Gives me a little bit of freedom, so I'm not tethered to my desk.
Right.
Especially if it's a meeting I don't have to see or type. Then it might be nice to be able to run and fill up my water or whatever.
Right. Put yourself on mute and go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. That has never gone poorly in the history of
yeah, we had lots of meeting mishaps, teleconferencing mishaps since, I mean, I haven't. I'm assuming you haven't. But there have been widely publicized ones.
Yeah.
People doing bad things.
Or just ill-advised things, right? Like,
yeah, or ill-advised things.
I have yet to see somebody stand up and not be wearing bottoms. Thankfully, because like I just don't want to know.
No.
But yeah, the number of times I've seen cats or dogs on screen just all of a sudden is, things that exist.
Yeah, but I mean that is sometimes nice because it breaks up the meaning a little bit. Everybody likes to see a pet pop on screen because it adds a little levity and breaks up the meeting a little bit. But it can also derail a meeting completely because then everybody has to call their COVID dog over or whatever.
Or you get a small child popping their head up into a meeting. That's
Yep.
always that's always a good distractor. And
Yep.
depending on the meeting, may be really, really important.
Yeah, potentially. Wonder how many new policies got instituted because of meeting mishaps just over the last, well, going on 3 years now.
Right. I found it. I found the Azure outage.
Okay.
It was a good one. So, just to cleanly segue straight into it, meeting mishaps are one form of bad things that can happen to people.
This is true.
I'm not even going to try. So let's talk about the FAA outage.
Yes. I mean, we don't know a ton of details yet.
Right.
We know basically no details, but we do know one key piece of information, even as vague as it is.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to see how good my research skills or how good yours are.
I read one article yesterday afternoon and haven't really seen any updates or expounding on that since. What I saw was an engineer copied a file out to a server that overwrote another one, and that caused a cascading failure. Probably a web.config getting replaced by a blank file or something stupid.
So
which is
apparently the impacted server was some kind of database server.
okay.
So
A quorum file, maybe something silly like that. Where
I mean, we are talking about technology that is probably circa 1970. So flat file database is a possibility. Like
DB2.
Right. I mean, that's pretty advanced for 1970, but
Well, I'm sure things have been updated since then.
I mean, we might hope that to be the case.
But apparently, the architecting of said system has not progressed.
I did see some stuff out there suggesting like they have an upgrade slated. I'm not sure if it's funded yet, if it's underway. So much of the FAA's work is subject to some pretty intense oversight and approval from the federal government, which, fine. But if that's what's holding up just basic modernization efforts, then I'm gonna want everybody to write a letter to their congressman.
Yeah.
Well, and cost savings, fine. Government being small, fine. The FAA is a reality, and I think most people would argue at its core a useful reality for a world that has air travel. So let's not get in the way of basic infrastructure.
Yeah.
So given the environment that said engineer works in, what do you think the odds are the guy loses his job?
Oh, it's government or government adjacent, basically. It'll never happen.
Okay.
You can commit fraud for decades and not get fired. It's just how it is.
True. But he didn't.
You cannot show up to work for decades.
Again, these are apparently the forgivable sins of government.
Yeah.
I don't know that being a competent but human person is a forgivable sin in government.
The I'm pretty sure the only way to get fired from a job like that is to embarrass the wrong person. And I
Okay.
don't know that he's embarrassed anyone specific.
Well,
Yeah.
Matt has actually had a government or government adjacent job,
Okay.
um, actually military. So, um, fair enough.
I have a feeling like military, you would get in worse trouble than anything
Than any public
that.
sector or
Well,
um,
and
government
so,
sector.
and also, should he? I don't think making a legitimate mistake. It, I'm almost certain. I mean, the likelihood that this was malicious is probably pretty low. Barring that, should he get fired? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Um, like I've known a lot of people that are really good at their jobs in IT, and I also know that a lot of those people have made human level mistakes. Doesn't make them worse at their job. In fact, you you learn from your mistakes. They make you better. So, like, the issue is over.
Yeah.
Now the question is, what do you do with it after that? And I
Well,
think
yeah. What do you do with this new thing you've discovered? This new button you're not supposed to push. Is it
right.
is this something that could have been architected around? Is this something that could have been prevented? Are there processes that were not in place that reasonably should be and would have prevented it? Or is adding anything additional just extra toil that will accomplish nothing? Like
Right.
an extra 50 hours of change control meetings would not have
Wouldn't
prevented
have
this from
changed the fact
happening.
that at at best, like my not knowing anything about this, I anticipate what happened is dude's in the middle of an update, um, pastes a file into a place that he thinks it should go because like he's lost track of it or the instructions aren't clear or who knows, right? Drops a file into a place, overwrites something that he shouldn't have overwritten. No clear indicators that that's actually happened, and then goes on about his business. Um, the only thing that I can see is, hey, what's your change testing regimen look like? Right?
Yeah.
Like, are you doing like you've made the change, you're in your change window. How do you validate that your change is successful? That's a process that I can see being added and being beneficial. Um,
I can't believe that that's not in place now. But clearly it isn't.
right. So like
Well, and
it,
there's all like how I mean, starting at the very base, why does one database server going down affect this app at all?
right.
That should be a minor annoyance. That should be, I'm getting emails and it's annoying. I'm going to fix it to make them go away, kind of thing. Not all airplanes grounded in the United States kind of issue. This should be, oh, one of the database servers is down. We
Well, and
should look into that.
if you look at aircraft systems, aircraft themselves, and also
Yeah.
like um, some of the core air traffic control stuff, they have like triple redundancy built in.
Yes.
Unless the system has like better than or worse than like 98% reliability, then they're like quadruple redundant. Like it's
Yeah.
they're seeking like 7 or 8 nines on reliability out of their systems. Um, the odds of issues happening for modern aircraft is vanishingly small. So the fact that like a database being down can take down a system that makes them ground aircraft, like that's this is why I think we're all going, okay, this is clearly something from the 1970s,
Yeah.
right? When computers were new.
And the thing is, this is just a messaging system.
Right.
That's really. I hate to say it's really easy to do, but it's kind of really easy to do.
I mean,
I'm not saying I could do it. I'm saying it's effectively a solved problem.
particularly in the US. So it's interesting. Aircraft do have some problems, right? They're they're outside of cell networks. They fly at a level where we don't have the ubiquitous connectivity at that height that we do on the ground. Fine. Um, we honestly apparently haven't invested a lot in additional transmission capability to like give them better bandwidth, which is crazy pants to me,
Yeah.
but um, is apparently true. Although the airlines clearly have done something about that because they can provide reasonably high bandwidth and throughput on an aircraft to their customers, right? Like, if you want to pay for it, they'll give you a connection to the ground that'll let you do a little bit,
Yeah.
which is like, that's a little bit mind blowing, right? So if they've got that capability, clearly they've got some communication capabilities. So why aren't we using something like that? Um, you know, yeah, you can take a cell network down, but if you were to like invest in it like we do our air infrastructure, I would imagine we could probably make a pretty redundant national network for it.
Well, and it's not the connectivity that failed; it was the systems that failed.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm just
connectivity. Okay, I mean the existing ones are. Well, actually, I mean, maybe it is packet based, like packet based radio of some sort. But you could easily have that fail over to uh, w- whatever satellite or cell connection that the plane is actually
right.
has at the time, or even that could be the primary and the secondary is fail over to that. That's the backup connection is the legacy systems, the
Right.
legacy connectivity. Either way, but I mean that's not even the issue. I mean the radios didn't stop working, the
Mhm.
messaging system stopped working.
Right. Basic architectural stuff that like I come on.
I mean
Facebook
shit.
Messenger. And they're not that good at it, right?
It doesn't
Microsoft
even
Teams.
Twitter for airplanes.
Right.
I mean, one of the problems Twitter was originally designed to solve, that's why there's character limits. That's why, well, originally it was text only, was something that you could interact with as a social network that was basically just, it could operate over SMS if it needed to.
Right. I mean, now Elon has done a lot to gut the infrastructure team over there, so who knows what it looks like.
Still running fine.
I don't know. I don't use it, and I'm not
Yeah,
interested in using it. So, um, but yeah. Um, so poor FAA guy had maybe the worst day. Actually, maybe it wasn't the worst day in his career. He's famous now. He could
potentially. Is his name even released?
no, but here's what I'll say: if that dude doesn't immediately start thinking about a speaking career, he's
Yeah.
missing the boat. He's got one of the most widely publicized things that he can claim to his name, and he could like you could go in front of a bunch of IT people at every IT conference for the next 15
Yeah.
years and talk about the day I brought air traffic to a halt in the US.
What do only bin Laden and myself have in common?
Right.
And no other human on the planet.
What do bin Laden, crazy winter storms, and me have in common?
But crazy winter storms don't take down everything in North America.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Interestingly enough, the Canadians apparently had an issue with their air traffic control systems, which they say was unrelated. I'm like, Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm not paid to believe in coincidences, so we'll see.
Yeah, there's I didn't hear about.
Yeah. Um, the other interesting thing to me is, will the U.S. government be as good, better, or worse than Microsoft when it comes to postmortem and publishing those things?
Ooh,
You've got Congress involved. They're going to do some investigations, and those guys are awful at investigations.
yes, they are.
Their staffers are pretty good at it, um, with
That's the thing.
specific topics.
They don't do investigations to get answers. They do it to get their sound bites in for their next reelection.
Right.
I'm
And it
going to
was
ask a question that I want to get videoed asking. I don't give a shit what you're going to answer. Doesn't matter. I need to be on camera asking this question.
yeah, whoever the dominant
Angrily.
yeah, whatever the dominant political force.
Yeah.
The question is either going to go, so if you're the party that's trying to make gains, your questions are all going to be, "Sir, is there a reason that the funding from the other party has made it so that you can't keep the American people safe?" Right? Or the question to be, we know we've got a lot of legacy from the last uh, administration, and
The
that's
last
caused a lot of
10.
problems. So what can this new administration, which clearly cares about the American people, what can we do to help you? Right? Like, that's how it's going to go.
So very similar to Microsoft, just different kind of politics. Because Microsofts are always extremely vague.
Allow me to. So let's segue to the thing that we went to. Um, let's find this.
Let's segue to the thing that we're about to segue to.
Right, September 7th. The day that Azure Front Door
Oh,
decided.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because even their like monitoring and alerting systems used front door. So when front door went down, everything went just pear shaped.
This is a case where Microsoft totally drank its own Kool-Aid. Now,
Yep.
I could have told them not to. It's not.
If anybody shouldn't trust Microsoft products, it should be them.
I am on record, as we all know, or maybe some of you don't, but I'm on record as not the biggest fan of Microsoft's products. Some of them are good, but I'm definitely not a big fan of Front Door. They're trying to do too much with services that they have never been good at. Like, Microsoft has tried to be a networking company for lots of years and have always been really bad at it. Like, look, you can make your Windows NT server into a firewall. I mean, you can. Should you? No.
The smartest thing they ever did networking wise was to borrow the BSD network stack for NT.
Yes.
Completely kosher, but just
I mean, open source,
that's how the
right?
licensing it. Well, yeah, and it's a BSD license, so they
Yep.
can reuse it for commercial purposes with attribution.
So,
I mean, it's been corrupted since then, but at least they took advantage of things available and didn't try
Right.
and reinvent the wheel.
and man, they should keep doing that. So September 7th, from 1610 to 1955 UTC, a subset of customers using Azure Front Door experienced intermittent availability drops. So their statement, at its peak, this impacted approximately 25% of traffic. Now, given that it's uh, a WAF, a traditional firewall, a web front end, and a CDN, um, when they say 25% of traffic, what you got to know is that that basically affects every customer, right? Because it doesn't discriminate. It's not like, oh, this 25% of customer is going to go down. Let's know everybody's got 25% of their traffic that gets jacked up. I don't know about you, Brian, but I haven't seen too many networks that appreciate losing 25% of their packets.
No, bad things happen.
Yeah. And the best part was Azure Portal, the thing you use to engage with Microsoft Azure. And now Microsoft support goes through front door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I agree with Catherine. The government will be worse than Microsoft because Microsoft does actually explain some things. If it is at all possible that this could be embarrassing to anybody that currently is in political office or is connected to somebody who's in political office, we will not hear the realities of this, not in any kind of time frame that matters.
Well, because they have no incentive to do this in a timely manner or in good faith.
Right.
At least Microsoft, yeah, they're very dominant, but ultimately every customer of Microsoft is at will. They have choices. They choose, even if they're pseudo locked in, they're still choosing to stay with Microsoft. With the government, you have no such choice.
Yeah, if you're flying in the US, you are a customer of the FAA.
Yes. And there's nothing you can do about it that won't be on the decade's timescale.
I mean, unfortunately, yes. The reality is you could make this faster. It's not hard, right? Like, step on the gas, guys.
They're in they have no incentive to do so.
Correct. Even had something happened, I mean, forbidding, don't want that to happen. But even if something had happened, they still would have no incentive to do so. And that is an awful statement to make. I'm sure that there are many of those people wandering around the Capitol building that do actually mean well for the American people most days of the week. But
yeah, we call them interns.
Fair enough. I'm still saying Monica Lewinsky as Speaker of the House. Speaking of interns for government.
Yeah.
So yeah, Microsoft and the FAA together. You know what? Even if the FAA does update their systems, they'll probably run it on Azure. So.
Oh, jeez. So when there's the quarterly Azure outage.
Well, it's my favorite thing to hear people talk about how the government uses Azure. I mean,
they
in
use
that
AWS Gov. I mean, they use some Azure as well. Yeah, but it's government data centers being run by Microsoft and by Amazon, respectively. That's
no. It is government data centers that they have allowed Azure and AWS to put their label on, so they can get some discounts on software they want.
We want to run your tool sets on our stuff.
Right. You see that really cool thing that you don't sell? Like, hey, we'd like to use DFS because it works well, pretty reliable. We know how to make it redundant. Yeah, we'd like that. We'd like it for free, So we're going to let you claim that we run on your data center. That work? In Microsoft Gov? Yeah. Yeah. So like when you compare the Microsoft government Azure or AWS.gov, like it's not the same thing. Not at all.
Yeah, so from a networking standpoint, I have some interactions with it through the VA for one of my customers.
Okay.
And from my perspective, it's identical to regular Azure.
Okay. I mean,
sorry, AWS, not Azure.
if
But
it cannot be different. Like, I mean, it's as different as they are. Like, it's that different, but yeah.
Well, honestly, I mean that would be because it solves a lot of problems for them to be able to run standardized, basically everything.
Sure.
Automations, deployments, when all that stuff is all following someone's standard, someone that's big enough where there's enough people using it, where you can consultants, there's people that know it, and you can Google for it and figure out an answer. Versus if they had tried to roll this themselves, well, first off, it wouldn't even
like,
be running yet. It would be another 20 years before they had it running, and it would
so it's
be
like
what?
Gov.
Exactly. So,
we hired a contractor.
I mean, when somebody's better at something, let them do it.
Fair enough.
Even if it's a little bit weird, where it's basically government data centers that's running the AWS or Azure secret sauce. I'm fine with that, because it does. It would be that better than from them trying to just run it themselves.
Right. I mean, then you get healthcare.gov or the American banking system, or whatever. Either super new but tons of growing pains, or like so old that it's impossible to update.
Yeah, so much legacy cruft that there's just nothing you can do about.
Right. So let's segue into let's talk about Flipper Zero for a second. Completely unrelated.
I don't know what Flipper Zero is.
It's that fancy toy that's super hackery.
Oh, is that the? Oh, I know exactly what that is. I sent that link out.
Yep.
But I have the memory of a gnat, apparently.
No, that's fine. You got that link? Because you should share it. I would, but we know how my connection is.
Yeah.
So, to give a little background, it's a little crazy. What can you do? You can like spoof basically wireless
garage door
devices.
openers, car door systems. You can clone HID cards. Most like IoT communication. Trying to think. It's all kind of all the lower frequency RF communications.
Right. Like they show it reading NFC data from what looks like a YubiKey to me, which, okay, big deal. Like getting NFC data from a YubiKey is not that not that important, right? Like YubiKeys are pretty good cryptography, but the fact that it can just read them on the fly is pretty crazy. And it's
It's
kind of
more
cute.
to me, the interesting part of that is they're not going to be able to like get anything useful off that YubiKey. It's the fact that they can uniquely identify one at a
Right,
distance, know it's there, and know it's the same one.
right,
That's useful information to someone.
right. No, absolutely.
Same with NFC
Right. Well, and the ability to do like
or RFID. Sorry.
HID prox cards. Um, you know, there's a lot here, and seriously, it looks like a toy.
Yes.
Um, so um, yeah. Now, I have seen a lot of like toys or experiment things out there that, like, say what you will, man, it's questionable. Like, obviously, somebody's already built this thing, right? So
Yeah.
by putting it out in a toy format doesn't actually put it in the hands of that many more nefarious actors. It does put it in the hands of a bunch of like, you know, 12 to 15-year-olds that might not otherwise have one. Um, it's going to be hell for schools.
Oh, true.
School networks are notoriously uh, undermanaged. And man, I have a lot of sympathy for those guys. They have an environment that is
It's got
nobody's
infrared
better.
too.
Uh, mine with the DVD play. Some poor teacher's going to have to actually teach.
Yep. Why does the monitor keep turning off?
Yeah. Worse yet, you've got
Yeah.
something that can take slide input over RF or over IR. I was doing a presentation to the class, and all of a sudden there were really questionable things on the screen.
Or even just like changing inputs or turning something off or just minor little things.
Right. Yeah. Um, if you are in high school currently, this is not a list of things to try.
No.
Um,
Oh.
yes.
So it's USB port. You can also use it as like uh not host mode, like device mode to attack a computer.
Okay. Has it got like keyboard logging and stuff like that too?
No, I don't see that, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
like,
It's a cool little toy. I don't know. I kind of want one for $170. Granted, since that article came out, the price on Amazon has shot up to $404.99.
well, if you got a thing that everybody wants,
Yeah,
um, like ride that wave while you can, man.
true. Well, that's just kind of how Amazon's adaptive pricing works.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, I
that
wonder how
stock
much of
starts
that
getting low, the price starts going up.
I do wonder how much of that adaptive pricing goes to the original vendor, or if Amazon just keeps all of it.
I think I think the percentages stay the same
So, nice for those folks.
because I'm pretty sure that they can control that as well.
Right.
I'm not sure because I know I've seen videos about doing like all the like drop ship stuff and buy stuff at the resale shop and sell it on Amazon, all that crap. I don't know how I get suggested these videos, or why I end up watching them, but here we are. But I know people have talked about pricing, and you could. I'm pretty sure that you can adjust a lot of that
Sure.
from your side.
I mean, what we got to do is we got to get some merch up on an Amazon store so that we can experiment with the Amazon pricing algorithms.
For anything on Amazon, we'd have to pre-make it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
Print on demand for whatever would be more
it would.
suitable
Oh
for
yeah,
both polo shirts that we'd sell. One to me, one to you.
come on. I've been circulating nothing more permanent than a temporary solution for a while, and I think I've got some customers.
Yeah.
As long as it's like $5 or less.
Yeah. These little stickers you can throw on your laptop or whatever.
What we need is like cheap white coffee mugs, like dirt cheap white coffee mugs,
Yeah.
and then stickers that you can put on them.
Oh, and have it come with a whole pack of stickers.
Mm-hmm. Customize your Op Soups origami coffee mug.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think we've got a product line. It's even better if the sticker will only hold on as long as the cup stays room temperature. Because I'm a jerk. No. No, that could be interesting. For all four of you watching us right now, if you're interested in Ops Oops Origami merch, hit us up. Also, mid-show reminder to, like, comment, share the comments, mash that subscribe button, ding that bell.
Mm-hmm.
All the whatever other phraseology the kids are using these days.
Yep. I think now it's all about the shorts. Every YouTuber is doing shorts now. It's probably the only way to stay on top of the algorithm. I just don't care enough.
Me neither. That's what we need. We need shorts. Op Soups Origami shorts.
Catherine will get some merch.
This is the one that made me laugh. Matt is a guy that I work with.
Okay.
So he's being super kind. All right. So, I have a topic that I want to cover.
Okay.
I don't know if we've got any metaverse fans watching right now. If you are a metaverse fan and you're watching right now, please comment. We're going to invite you on, and then I'm going to do my best to ruin your life. I mean, nothing personal.
See, are there any metaverse fans?
I mean,
Or is that why Facebook has lost like $200 billion over the last 6 months? It's probably not why, but
so Elon thinks it's a joke, but Bill Gates and the Zuckerberg, which now I'm thinking of him like he's some kind of dirigible. Like someday there will be the Zuckerberg disaster.
Oh, the huge vanity.
Anyway, the Zuckerbergs are both of them.
He's
are
kind of
totally
got
behind it.
manatee-like skin. It's just kind of pale and clammy looking.
Is that what you call it, manatee? I would call it like lizard people, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
He's
The
like
scales are so small.
he's like the third world capitalism version of John Tesh. You know, Alien, but like discounted.
Yeah.
He's like a Russian knockoff of a car, but like the Alien version. Like, Russian Alien, just as good as US Alien. Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
what would Gatesburg. It'll be Gatesburg.
Gatesburg.
Or
That's their couple name. Their celebrity couple name.
Yeah. So yes. That's good stuff. So let me take
But
it back.
it won't be a brand name. It won't be an actual Adidas tracksuit. It'll be like Abibas. It'll be one of the knockoff ones that they have in former Soviet satellite countries. It'll be
Right.
the Uzbekistani version of of Adidas. It'll have 4 stripes.
Not each of them not quite the same color because they
Yeah.
just can't
Well,
afford the
they
thread.
get what you get. What you get.
Zuckville, I love it. Uh,
Well, I mean, Bill has been buying up a whole bunch of farmland,
yeah.
and Zuck has been buying up a whole bunch of Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Uh,
Uh, oh, that's good stuff. So let me take you back to this past weekend. I have a 6-year-old son. Uh, he's totally into technology, loves computers. Um, he's not particularly literate at those things. Like I'm not breeding the next 8-year-old hacker or anything. Although he's wicked smart, so he may surprise me. Um,
but he's
but we're sitting
fascinated at the concept.
right, right. So we stumbled on a show on Curiosity Stream. By the way, shameless plug for a
Hmm.
system that pays us no money. But
It's like
Curiosity Stream,
$12 a year for Curiosity Stream and
Nebula.
Nebula.
Yeah.
That was like, yeah, I'll do that, even if it sucks. And I mean, there's not a ton of stuff on there, but everything that's on there, it's high production value, and it's all
Right.
like
So they were doing
documentary kind of stuff.
um, running up to the end of the year. They were doing 100 days um, of Curiosity Stream. So like it was a new piece of content that they posted every day. Um, some of it was like all of it is actually really high quality, and they've got some serious stuff. They've got some uh, longer form things, but like the series we landed on was future tech. Um,
Okay.
so like there's one on Hyperloop and one on just a variety of things. The one he wanted to watch was the metaverse one. And I'm like, you don't really want to watch that one, kiddo. He's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, you're gonna be disappointed. And we watched it, and he loved it. And it occurred to me like I can't explain to him the problem with the metaverse because what he sees is a really cool computer game, right?
Yeah.
And what I see is a a world driven by the top zero point 0.1 or 0.01% of the income earners in the world trying to behave like this thing is the next solution to all of humanity's problems when a good 90 to 95% of the world will never be able to afford it. I'm like, I'm sorry. We're not going to get. You're not getting like sub-Saharan Africa to stand up their own VR rigs every day. And if you don't have a VR rig, it's just another crappy computer interface. But yeah, it occurred to me, I'm like, so why are these big tech geeks that theoretically know a lot about technology, um, why are they so obsessed with this? And then I started to think, where are the sources for the metaverse? They're basically all dystopian science fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've got um, any of the books by Gibson, which, if you haven't read them, good short reads, but also dystopian future world. Like you're talking about cyberpunk stuff. The only non dystopian science fiction that I can think of that's got anything like the metaverse is Star Trek: The Next Generation with the holodeck, and there it's an entertainment because these people have energy coming out of their pores. Like the Star Trek
Yeah.
universe has more energy than they know what to do with.
Yeah.
But you know, that's like a post post scarcity society.
Well, if you're in the Federation, you're post scarcity. Everybody
Sure.
else, not so much, because that's the only place you'll find holodecks is on the
Right.
larger Federation starships, and like some holiday destinations.
Yeah.
But
It's not exactly ubiquitous technology, right?
no, definitely not.
Um, I mean, it's kind of interesting. They're far more likely in that universe. They're far more likely to stand up a full reality pleasure planet than like create a holodeck version of it because it's cheaper.
Yeah, probably. It's kind of one of
It,
the perks of being in Starfleet because you don't get paid.
well, nobody
You're
gets
there for
paid.
the adventure, and well, everyone outside of everyone else gets paid. Everybody else
Yeah.
works on trade. It's just the Federation does not.
Well, and the
Well,
Vulcans clearly don't.
apparently they've figured something else out.
Right. Although if you look at some of the newer series out there, clearly the Federation has a significant amount of trade as well. Like there's traders traveling around the world, right?
Yeah.
Like
My,
if you're in
my knowledge stops at Next Generation, so I'm woefully behind.
um eh, I mean Deep Space 9 is a great series. Um and
I've
there's
seen some episodes. I just haven't had time to go back and
yeah. I mean, I'll say that I feel like it has not aged as well as the Next Generation. Weirdly enough, um the writing just is not, it's a product of its time, and I feel like it just didn't do as well as the Next Generation for some reason. Um, but some of the newer stuff out there is really good. Actually, Star Trek Lower Decks is actually really funny without being like Archer level crude.
yeah.
Um, and definitely lampoons the whole concept of Starfleet and Star Trek um, in really interesting ways. Um, So, and also 30 minutes long. So, way to go. Um, anyway, so I got to thinking about this dystopian thing. And then what I realized is like either these big tech giants can't distinguish between um, the dystopian world that exists in those novels and what they perceive to be the outside world, or they don't care that that's what it would take.
Well, I don't think anybody that creates a dystopia sets out to create a dystopia. They're always trying to create a utopia. It always becomes dystopian.
Right. But if you look at the cyberpunk stuff from Gibson, people escape into the metaverse either to make a quick buck or to like it's like the drug of the the middle class proletariat, right? Like the people that those in power really want to be just dulled into servitude. Um the same is true in like Ready Player One. You know, Ready Player One, super fun book, movie, whatever. But you look at the world those people live in, their lives kind of suck. So they spend a ton of time in these VR systems because the VR systems don't suck. That being said, like I look at the energy requirements of any of those things, and I'm like, yep, missing the basic economics of energy in every one of those scenarios. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to find somebody who's a big fan, thinks the metaverse is like, no, it's the future, man. And I want to debate them. I really want to, because I want to know, I want to have a genuine conversation about it. I'm not that much of a jerk, but like I have strong opinions about pursuing this concept of the metaverse. Seems super inefficient to me. And I do not like inefficiency in our society.
I honestly think it's going to be very difficult to find somebody that buys into the concept.
Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, you guys are both intelligent dudes. If you're listening, or your algorithms find this,
we know two of the four are Matt and Catherine. If the other two happen to be Zuckerberg and Gates,
right? Or if you're Vladimir Putin and you want to debate it, like we'll have you on. I'll even send you a cheesecake.
we'll wear our best tracksuits.
Yes, we'll help you. We'll help you firm up your concept for Zuckville.
Mm.
All right. So, since we didn't have any takers on having a friendly chat about the metaverse, you want to talk about wanker knobs or new?
What was new?
Oh, putting new in the name of things.
Oh. I'll probably start frothing at the mouth if we talk about new.
Okay, so we'll save that one for a minute. Before we start, what are you drinking tonight, by the way?
It was Dead Rabbit, but I'm all out.
Aw, that's sad.
Yep.
Here, let me pour you some Jameson. Hold your glass up. All right.
Yeah.
See if I can-
God.
All right. Trickle, trickle, trickle. Yeah, I had the 3-spice margarita that I get in an oil can. It's the coolest product, by the way.
3-spice margarita?
Or triple spice, sorry. If you can get this, hold on, let me find light that works for this. It's the party can, triple spice margarita. It's like, seriously, this thing is an oil can.
Yeah, it looks like an old school oil can. Well, more like an ATF, automatic transmission fluid can.
Yeah.
From like 20 years ago.
Put it in the fridge. You get chilled margarita out of it, and it's got a little spice. It's ginger, cinnamon, and subtle chili pepper. Chili pepper. Yeah, just a subtle hint of chili pepper.
My lovely wife that is watching refilled me.
Thank
it's the
you,
same
lovely
thing,
wife. So this it's great. If you can't find it in your local grocery store, mine carries it, and I'm perfectly happy to buy you one, so you can develop a new addiction. Because that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I drank through that, I'm now on to Jameson Caskmates, the Stout edition. So,
there we go.
So yeah. All right. So let's talk about wanker knobs. This was an article you posted out there, which I don't know how many people have heard the term nerd knobs, right? They're the things that IT product companies put into a product to give you the extra bells and whistles or the features to turn on, right? Um,
Yeah, the extra power to override default behavior.
right. Um,
So I just
so right. Um, the case the article makes, and I think it's for the most part right, is these are the things that you go like, oh yeah, I've totally had that problem. Awesome. I can fix that problem. When what you should be saying is like, yeah, I've totally had that problem. And I pinned my vendor to the ground until they fixed it.
yes.
Um,
It is nice to have those things. Don't use them if you can help it. Don't fall into the allure of the shiny object.
right. Just
If you
because you can doesn't mean you should.
because before you know it, you have your implementation of whatever so tweaked out and customized that not only do you not understand it, other people that understand this product, including TAC, do not understand fully what the hell you're doing with it. So I
Right.
get it, but be careful. The more things that can be, keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
If you have to do all kinds of weird stuff, maybe you're trying to solve the wrong problem or trying to solve it in the wrong way. I mean, it almost circles back to the XY problem, but it's all within you. It's like I've gone so far down the road of trying to fix this problem that now I'm 17 levels deep of just bastardizing the hell out of everything that's in my environment.
When you're
When at the top, at the beginning, there was actually a simple solution that could have been done, or something that was slightly less simple than the first of those 17 steps. But now you're already so far down that rabbit hole that you can't even see daylight anymore.
right. Um, I think it was Jesse that said like it's essentially the well, just this once.
Just this once. It's never just this once. There's nothing as permanent as a temporary solution.
Right. Um, so what did I wanted to ask? Wanker knobs. By the way, wanker knobs because if you use them, you're totally a wanker, not a nerd.
It's to take the sexiness out of the nerd knobs
Right.
because
Like
they're not. You're bastardizing something. I like having them too because sometimes I need to do bad things. I get it. I don't want them removed. I want them there. Just don't use them unless you have no other choice. And if you think you have no other choice, ask other people that know. They might know of a different way. Or take a step back from the problem and try and reevaluate. But
it's
sometimes, you know what? You need to turn that knob. If you need to turn that knob, turn that knob. Don't let anything some dumbasses on YouTube say
right.
turn you away from turning that knob when you have to. If you don't have to, don't.
But if you need to consult with somebody to decide whether or not you should turn that knob, you can ask the dumbasses on YouTube. We're, we're we got your back.
Although Chris's answer is to always turn the knob.
Wait, what knob are we talking about?
I don't know. I lost track.
No, in general, um, the the more I deal with modern infrastructure, particularly cloud infrastructure, um, the less interested I am in turning the knob. I
Yeah.
want you to like I want stuff to get to the point where it's ridiculously compliant with standard. Like if you've done any configuration past the out of the box scenario, um, I got some questions for you.
Yeah.
Um, so
Why and how is this scriptable?
well, And where's your documentation? Show me your proof of your use case. Um, uh, I'm so glad.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Thank you, Chimdale Lake Man. We'll get that boat back on the lake soon enough. It just needs to thaw. The boat and the lake. It's a long story.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Properly winterize your boats, people. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, that's just good life advice.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether you own a boat or not, make sure you've properly wrapped it for the season.
Yes, yes. But anyways, as you were saying before,
As I was saying, I just the farther you get from the basic standard, the harder it is to get support, the more likely it is to break, the more likely it's not going to work when it comes to integrate with something else. And let's face it, everything integrates with something else now. The more complex it is to get it to be redundant. Like, everything gets worse when you get further from the like straight out of box configuration. So don't do it. You're just like your support burden goes up exponentially. So like one little change, all right, like fine. That adds 1 to your support burden. But 2 little changes, that adds 4. Like in fact, if you get to you may get to the point where it's even a logarithmic growth.
be you so lucky.
Right, like you want to get buried in support really quickly, customize your stuff.
Oh yeah. Customize the hell out of it.
Right. I would rather you home grow your solution, right? Because yeah, it's not standard, but it's written for the purpose. So, and honestly, then you've got staff to maintain it. They built it for you. Hopefully you're paying them enough to keep them around. They're, you can maintain that thing. As opposed to buying off the shelf and then customizing.
Yes.
This is actually, I just had this realization literally right now. The reason that buy off the shelf and then customize is worse than building it yourself is that support burden. And people will tell you, well, no, that's like, we got the vendor that can help us support it. That's a lie.
Yes, and it's a bigger lie the more you customize it. And you know this firsthand, just like I know this firsthand, because we have a common former employer who bought an off-the-shelf point-of-sale system, and they were the big fish in the small pond for that provider.
Right.
So when they said, do this, do this, do this, they said, okay. And then we ended up with a system that was so modified from their base product, we could never update on the standard train again. Not even remotely. And everything was custom. Well, why'd we buy a product in the first place if we're going to twist it inside out?
Right. At some point, you're better off just making your own. Right. If you have to buy a car,
and even that is usually a bad idea.
Sure. Like, yeah, the reality is, look, you think you're a special little snowflake, but the 80% rule applies.
You think you're a special snowflake until you realize that your processes suck. This is why every SAP implementation takes twice as long and costs 4 times as much. Because every company thinks they're a special snowflake. Instead, it's just their processes suck, and there's plenty of consultants that are more than happy to take your money to modify the hell out of their product.
I mean,
Happy
and
to do it. But then, guess what? Every time there's a major revision, you
right.
need to call all those people back in to re-implement your shitty business processes. You know what? There is not a business process that hasn't already been solved. Maybe look at what other people are doing. Just because this was developed by your secretary on note cards in 1942 and you've just carried it forward into a digital format, that doesn't make it a good system. I get it, it's your system. It doesn't make it a good system.
Right. Right. Um, no, I mean, applause to SAP. They've written a system that is basically infinitely configurable. Congratulations. You've made the Pied Piper of IT turds.
See, that's
But we
like
can customize it. It's salesforce.com. But we can customize it. I don't care. How about
that's
something I don't
like
need
that's
to?
like calling a program. That's like calling C infinitely customizable. Oh yeah, it's infinitely customizable. We'll just write whatever you want.
I got to. You know what was infinitely customizable? Fortran.
Yes.
How many people are using that today?
Too many.
Yes, the physics community
The
uses it.
FAA apparently.
Yeah. All right. So, wanker knobs. That's for you, Chimdale Lake. Wanker knobs. Don't turn them. So, yeah. Let's see here.
Should we do new or should we save that nugget for another show?
Right. I think we'll save that nugget for another show. I've got
We need to
two or
get
three
Jesse
other
on for
things.
that one or something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We need to get some other people because everybody will have had the same experience and everybody will be red in the face.
Let's make that one a roundtable. This is a formal invite to all you watching right now, and those of you not watching. If you would like to participate in a conversation that we all, if you've been 3 months or more in the industry, you've probably encountered this. And we can have a fun little chat / bitch session about the stupidity of the people that gave us systems that we then had to support. That's all I'll say, because I don't want to give away the farm. But if you're at all interested, reach out. We'll have a good time. We'll drink. We'll cry. We'll laugh. We'll cry some more. And then we'll drink enough to forget, at least for a little while.
Then we'll do all three at the same time. Drink,
yes.
laugh, and cry.
Yes, we
and
will.
forget about it. All four.
So yeah. What else do you want to touch on? Want to talk about Congress?
If you want.
I mean, do I want to be in a situation where we can discuss the failures of the American House of Representatives? Sorry, the United States House of Representatives, to govern successfully for their first, 5 days.
Or do we do that on Fridge Scribbles?
It's more of a Fridge Scribbles conversation. By the way, we also have another channel that I think we've got one episode up. We're super prolific, you and I.
We're definitely we're a thing.
It's good to be back though. I kind of like this Dan Carlin-esque cadence that we're developing though. Like Yeah, it's going to drop when it drops, and it might be months.
Yeah, I
So
mean it happens.
yeah,
I
um,
mean, we should be a little bit
we should be.
more, yeah.
Yeah.
But hold on, I am.
Ooh.
So I am dropping the link to Fridge Scribbles.
You can watch our one live. It was pretty good.
I don't even
Again,
remember what we talked about. It was so long ago, 4 months
uh,
ago.
God save the Queen. Fuck the King.
Oh yeah,
By
sure.
the way, cheers, FTK.
FTK. Oh fuck
Yeah.
the fuck the king.
Mhm. This is a
My
toast.
mouth wanted to say Queen.
Right, mine too.
Yeah.
This is a toast that the Irish really appreciate. And if your question is why do the Irish have a problem with the English monarch, I'm going to tell you to get a book.
Any book really, they'll probably touch on it at some point.
Probably. Yeah. So.
Hell, even a phone book. Find an O'Malley and ask him.
An O'Malley, a Fitzgerald, a Flanagan.
Uh,
A Malone, a McGuire. I think a McGuire would be good. Yeah, a McGuire. Ask them. But again, Fridge Scribbles. Check us out. We'll probably do something on Congress because, you know, it it's awful. It's really awful.
yeah.
Like it's not going to get any better. I saw the fun story. TikTok now has posts of the U.S. Congress. So like
Why?
somebody recorded the address where they were presenting the new rules package, and like the approach, and of course it's the person that's super happy with it presenting it, whatever. I'm sure there's another TikTok channel out there that's like, oh, this is the most awful thing ever. They're both wrong, and yet both right. But it's crazy that like the short form social media company that's basically designed to be the crack of the 21st century, that's run by China, is now a place for posting political discourse. Something has gone
Eh,
seriously wrong.
I refuse.
As you should.
The only TikToks I've seen are the ones that you've sent me.
Yeah, I'm awful.
Because I'm not gonna not watch something that you send me. But
But see, that's the way you should consume it, right? Like a snippet. I think what I average probably one every 2 weeks at most to you.
yeah, something like that.
I will readily admit that like I will spend 15 to 20 minutes on tiki-takis a day. Some days more. I'm not gonna lie. It tickles my ADD brain.
I know it will. That's why I don't.
Right. Um, I'm amused. Wendy and I share some stuff back and forth. That's my lovely wife, by the way. Um, you know, we we share some stuff. It's good. Um, but yeah, our our kids our kids have seen some stuff. Um, a lot of content on there super questionable. They know all the songs because they've heard them, and their little music brains just latch on to every bit of music they've ever been presented. Um, so yeah, avoid the TikToks, but I'm just saying the fact that serious American political issues and challenges are making their way onto TikTok is
And the Chinese are laughing their asses off.
Yes, they're like, finally, it's melting down. Um, it is, but not in a way that the Chinese really understand. Um,
Hmm.
I truly believe that they fundamentally don't get us as strongly as we, in general, fundamentally don't get them. Um, yeah. So, on the next episode of Fridge Scribbles, oh wait, I got something for you.
Oh, do you know?
Here we go.
Oh boy.
On the next episode of Fridge Scribbles, TikTok, the Chinese difference in thought from the Western world, and the U.S. Congress.
Nice. And
And
that
if
was the
that doesn't
weird
get,
portion of the show.
and if that doesn't get Chimdale Lake Man going, I don't know what will.
Yes, yes, you can.
Um, yeah, in fact, if anybody wants to participate in the, so think of Fridge Scribbles as Ops Oops Origami without the guide rails of IT.
Yeah, we're trying to keep Ops Oops Origami in the IT realm.
Right.
All the other crap goes over there. I mean,
Right.
there's always going to be bleed over, but if there's
Right.
going to be a whole show that's just off the rails and stupid, it'll be over on Fridge Scribbles. We're going to try and keep it off of Ops Oops Origami.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some good
It's for your
conversations.
sanity.
Yeah, absolutely. You should be able to choose what level of disjointed craziness you consume. Um, unless you're married to one of us, and then I'm sorry, you had a chance.
Yeah. Could have ran. Well, I mean, the shackles would have slowed you down, but
Eh,
yeah.
but we gave you the lotion for your skin. Well, that got dark.
Anyways,
So, how about those sports teams? Um,
yep. Local sport ball team put forth an effort.
they performed in a way
That was adequate to their
for
abilities.
something.
I don't know. I don't. I used to watch football. I like going to games.
Oh, that's fun.
That's fun. I don't pay attention to the game going on, but I mean, I like going to them.
We should do in persons. I have a bar that will let us do that now. Um,
Okay.
uh, or I'm 90% sure will let us do that. Um, and B, we should do a Brewers game.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a Fridge Scribbles or an Ops Oops thing, but like, let's get all our viewers to meet up.
We're related to most of them.
I mean,
I mean, we
yeah,
know. So we know Catherine's one. I think Chimdale Lakeman dropped off.
yeah, poor guy.
So Matt's another. I'm assuming that Jesse is. Well, I mean, sometimes he'll just. I don't know.
I circulated to several new people at work that said they might try to check in. So, um, which is interesting when I put the word out, people are like, and this is totally on me. They're like,
Oh.
"Oh yeah," either like, "Oh, I didn't know that you did that," or they're like, Oh yeah, I've heard you kind of talk about it, but you haven't posted it before. Um,
Yeah, we've been busy. You've been
um,
busy. I've been busy.
yeah. I just feel like I'm not doing the best job at marketing us, Brian.
No.
Um, I mean, that's probably not surprising. Uh, yep, yep. I can confirm that that is true.
I believe it.
Um, yeah. Um, that's how you know he's an operations guy, right? What do you do late at night? No, you work on work stuff and listen to some crazy trash on YouTube.
Yeah, kinda.
So,
Yeah.
all
Well,
right, well,
we're at an hour and a half.
we are, and it's 10 o'clock. I got to be up in the
That's a,
morning. Got to go do things.
especially since I was very recently complaining about content creators that are too long-winded. There's there's some like Joe Rogan. Okay, like sometime his podcasts are just too damn long. I cannot watch a 3, 4, 5, occasionally like 6 hour podcast.
Correct.
No, I've got shit to do. I've got
Like, I'm thrilled that Joe Rogan is in a position in his life that he can have a 6 hour conversations with somebody and record it. Like,
yeah
way to go, Joe. But it's that very reason that I have not gotten into Joe Rogan. Because like I don't have the time. The only content that I'm gonna consume that's gonna go past
yeah
like an hour is like Dan Carlin, right? Like, give me
yeah
meaty history. Like,
yeah.
fine, give me a 4 hour episode in a 6 episode series on World War II in the Pacific. That I will consume because like
Well,
it's
Dan
educational.
Carlin's are dense. It's a dense 1 or 2 hours.
Right. Right. It's not conversational. It's not like even
Yeah.
his interviews are like good meaty interviews. Um so yeah, Joe Rogan, bright guy, entertaining, got a cool concept, brings freaking everybody on. Um,
Yeah.
wildly different viewpoints. Like I, I'm thrilled that he's out there. Um, but yeah, I don't got the time.
No, me either. Which
Like
is why we should wrap this up. I know
indeed,
our normal is closer to 2 hours, but
right? No, no. Well,
we're
you know,
for
maybe we
our
can
first time back in 6 weeks. Oh no, God, longer, almost 3 months.
almost 3 months. That's like 12 weeks. Um,
Yeah, we need to
let's
up
turn
that
over a
a
new
bit.
leaf for the new year, and try to keep it to like more like an hour, hour and a half.
Hour and a half, and one channel or the other every other week at a
We
minimum.
we can try.
We could do an hour every week,
Sure.
especially if we lean on fridge scribbles, because we always have something we can bitch about that's not
uh,
IT related.
true. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, we just need to find a good. Need to find a good cadence. We need to find a good night to do it. Good
Right.
time. Because we pushed
Right.
back to 8:30, probably because the kids are going to bed a little bit later. So
Um, interestingly enough, they've totally been going to bed earlier the last like 2 or 3 weeks, but like that's not gonna last.
yeah, it's gonna
As
start
the
getting dark later. Or
right.
yeah,
Um, I mean they're good kids and like we could totally have them on the show. Uh, but you know, then I'd have to keep track of all of our viewers' social media habits just to make sure my kids are safe. No, just kidding. Um, but yeah, then we could have the thing where a child pops up in the background. or
Oh, I mean, that's fun for everyone.
right, right. Um, so yeah, I think we have nothing else useful to say. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you as well. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chris. Uh, oh, excuse me. We will try to not be quite so long next time. Or for some of you, I'm sorry, it will not be quite as long until the next one.
Correct. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good day. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.